Hey guys, so today I'm doing a tutorial. Someone had left a comment in my last video asking about the look and wanting me to do a tutorial, so your wish is my command and I'm doing the look for you. Now I am using the Jaclyn Hill palette. I have not been able to put this palette down since I got it in the mail. Every time I do eyeshadows, this is what I've been wearing. And the eyeshadows you've seen in my last several videos, more than likely, it's this palette. This is a very, very good palette. And I'm using a lot of these sort of warm tones to create this look. A nice, beautiful, kind of pinky goldeny color on the lid, which is different. I don't normally go for pinks, but it's really flattering and it's a very beautiful tone of pink. And I can see myself wearing this look. Obviously, I am again, but I will definitely do this look again for, going out, weekends, date night, whatever. It's really pretty. It's super easy to do. So I hope that you will enjoy this look as much as I do. And if you want to see how to do the tutorial, then let's keep going. To start the look off, I'm going to use my Tarte CC Colored Clay Eye Primer. This is something that I have in a little bin either to use or to toss, and I recently started using it as a primer, which this thing is hard to open. I've skipped primer a lot lately and never really needed to use it, but I got back into this recently, and I like it because it adds a little bit of color. I'm just blending that out with a brush. This is a Real Techniques Domed Shadow Brush. And I'm using this product on my lids and up into the crease. Then to set that, I'm going to take a little bit of the Bye Bye Pores from It Cosmetics, which is a very light, silky feeling translucent powder. And I'm going to use the same brush, and I'm just going to kind of pat right over everything just to make sure that I don't get any creasing throughout the day. And this powder has some ingredients to make it feel like straight, silky, kind of, I don't know, like the smoothest, like baby's bottom type of skin. Like, it's unreal, and I love this. It's a really good powder. So the first shade is called Silk Cream, and it is the third color in the palette, which looks like this here. If you have any sort of light tan shade that can be a transition shade, that would be good. And I'm going to be using the Morphe M441, which is a big fluffy brush, to apply this. And this is going to be in the crease and like the transition shade. And I'm not being too careful with it. I'm just going to kind of slap this on. It doesn't really matter. It's just for blending purposes in a little while. And I've been using this palette every time I've done eyeshadow since I purchased that palette, since it arrived in the mail. I've been using it, and I really love this palette. Love the colors. The quality is really great. However, there is quite a bit of fallout with some of the colors, so I don't have much concealer on either, just because I will need to go back and clean up. Also, another thing would be the shimmery shadows. You definitely have to use them with your finger or a dampened brush, because just on a dry brush, they don't really have the intensity as they do in the pans. But if you dampen your brush with some Fix Plus, primer water from Smashbox, some eye drops, you will definitely get what you see in the pan translating onto the lids or wherever you apply the color. So that's just a little quick review on this, but I really love the way these blend out. As you can see, it adds the color and it blends really nicely, and there is no need to work very hard with these colors. I don't know, it's just something really good about the formula. Next, I'm going to use the color that's right next to it, and that one is called MFEO, and I will show you what it looks like. It's this one right here. Oops, wrong one. This one. So just a little bit more of a kind of subtle rosy tone or undertone to it, but it's still a very light sort of neutral. And again, I'm going to be using the same Morphe M441 for that. And I'm just going to go just a bit lower with this. So I took the Silk Cream a little bit high, and I'm staying a little bit lower with this into my actual natural crease. And I'm just going back and forth with my brush and letting the bristles and that sort of taper point work with the eyeshadow to get it right into the crease area. That one is called Creamsicle. And like I said, it is kind of like a mustardy yellow type of color. And it looks like this. And by the way, all of these eyeshadows that I'm working with so far are matte. And I just took just the tiniest amount of that, and I'm going up kind of on the higher, like where my brow bone is, kind of where that bone is, you'll feel it. And I'm just going to lightly add a little bit of this. And it may look a little strange to begin with, but it'll come together, I promise. Next, to add some more darkness into the crease, I'm going with the shade called Pooter. And this is the third one in the second row. And then this one, again, is a little bit more deep in tone as opposed to these two that we used. It still has a subtle kind of rosy undertone as well. And I'm using a Morphe M433 brush, which, if I can focus, it looks like this. And I use this color a lot. And this is going to go right on the outer corner of the eye. So I'm just kind of wiggling it here, and then I'm going to turn my brush and then just add it into the crease area and blend it into these other shades. And then with my Morphe M441, with whatever's left on it, I'm going to go around the edges with it and just make sure that that color, the Pooter, blends in with everything else. Now I'm going to work on the lower lash line just to add some of these same shades, the same ones that I use. I'm going to start using a pencil brush to add those to the lower lash line. This is the Mikasa E310. Any pencil brush would work, and I'm going to go in with that first light tan shade, which is called Silk Cream. And I'm just going to go all the way in from inner corner to outer corner with it. And then again, taking the next shade, MFEO. Yes, MFEO. And then into Pooter. And I feel like I got some eyeshadow in my eyeball on this eye. Ooh. Probably did. And then to darken up the lower lash line, I'm going to use a flat definer brush like this. And I love using these for dark tones. And I'm going to use a couple of the shades that are on the deeper side of the sort of brown tones. And there are going to be these two shades here. One is called Mocha and one is called Chip. So the Mocha one, actually no, this is Chip. This is like a really deep, rich brown, and then this one is more of like a warmish brown color, and this one is called Mocha. So those two. And just kind of like stamp this right at the root of my lashes. And this is going to go here. I know it's going to look crazy, but we're going to blend this out. And with the same pencil brush that I used to apply the lighter shades, I'm just going to go around the edges of that dark color just a little bit to blend it out. Alright, now to work on the actual lid, which is what had the shimmery eyeshadow, I used a duochrome one, and it's this shade here. This one's called Sissy, and this is kind of like a pink with a golden sheen to it. You can see it has like, it looks kind of gold and then more pink. So it's like a peachy pink kind of color. First on my finger, and just kind of press that into the lid. And I'm not going to put any on this outer part. I'm going to leave this bare because we're going to add some of the dark like brown shades. So I'm going to lightly press this onto the lid. So I'm going to take an eyeshadow brush, load it up with the eyeshadow, and then I'm going to spray it with some of my Smashbox primer water. And then I'm going to press that shadow onto my lid. And you might be able to see a difference between this eye and this eye. It's much more intense. And when I foiled it, it almost looks more goldeny than actually the pink tones. It's different. It's a different type of eyeshadow. It's really, really pretty. It's a very flattering shade as well. I think it works with any eye color because of the sort of goldeny tones. And I'm not normally a person to wear pink eyeshadow, but that one is so pretty. So basically, from inner corner to about 3/4 of the way. Now to darken things up, I'm going to use some of the dark shades that I used on the lower lash line. I'm going to use that right on this outer V and just create kind of like a C shape just on the outer part of the eye called Mocha. So one of the shades that I used on the lower lash line. And I'm just switching to a pencil brush just so that I can get some more eyeshadow on here because the other brush was a little bit fluffier. As you can see, it definitely adds much more than using a fluffier brush. And I'm going to make sure that it comes down here as well. And then with my Morphe M443, I'm just going to go around the edges of that and make sure everything is nice and blended. Now for the inner corner and brow highlight, I used lots of fallout on these eyeshadows. I used the lighter colors, and you could, if you have this palette, you could use either one of those two in light or beam, and they're just light champagne, kind of ivory tones. Anything light and shimmery would work. And I'm going to use in light, which is a little bit lighter. The other one is a little bit more of like a yellowy tone, and I'm going to take that into the inner corner with a detail brush. This color is so incredibly pigmented, like just the tiniest amount adds so much to. Alright, and I did some eyeliner. And I just did a very thin line of liquid liner, just super thin, and then just lots of mascara, no false eyelashes. You could definitely do whatever liner and mascara, lashes, whatever you want, you could do that. But that is the extent of the actual eyeshadows that I was wearing. As you can see, they're really, really pretty and quite flattering, and it wasn't that hard to do. And these eyeshadows, I do have to give them credit because they're easy to work with and blend very easily. So far, I am loving this palette, so I'm going to clean up under the eyes, put on my foundation, and then I'll meet you back. Alright, so the look is complete, and I will have everything listed down below, but just to kind of walk you through everything else that I'm wearing on the face. For the foundation, I'm using my Clinique Even Better foundation. I recently picked this back up. I've had this for a couple months, and I've been just using minerals, but I went back to this, and this is really good. So I use this with a damp beauty blender, and I have it in the shade Linen, number 24. Again, it'll be listed down below. The blush that I'm wearing is a really natural kind of pinky glow or flush to the skin. It's the Physicians Formula Mineral Wear Talc-Free Blush in Natural. And I showed this in my last haul video that I posted on Friday. It's just a really pretty shade, goes with everything. And for highlight, I'm using my newest highlighter, which is from Laura Geller. It's the Diamond Dust, so it's that sort of duochrome unicorn type of thing. It looks white, but when you put it on, it has like a pinky, pretty pinky glow. For lips, I have on just a tiny bit of the Kate's Nude number 45 from Rimmel London, which is one of my go-to lipsticks, and I use this almost all the time. So I figured let me mix it with just a little bit of something else, and I have the Buxom Gloss. This is in the shade Trixie, which is kind of like a goldeny peachy pink color, which I thought kind of played well with the eyeshadow tones, but you can't really tell too much of this on top of the lipstick. It's just kind of like a glossy finish that it gives. But I definitely feel that sort of minty tingle. So that is everything that I used. And again, check the description bar if you're interested in anything else. And that's it. That's how you do complete this look. It's super easy. I really enjoy these tones. I love wearing warm tones, and this is just sort of like me colors. It's a little bit darker than what I would wear day to day, but for some of you, this may be a really good, easy, everyday look that you could wear for work or to go out or even out to dinner, date night, whatever. You could definitely add more or, you know, take away a little less if it's too much for you. So you can definitely tailor this look for your preferences. And I hope that you enjoyed the tutorial as much as I did. Thank you so much for spending some of your day here with me. Have a fabulous day, and I'll talk to you very soon.